Hey everyone, and welcome to Virtue Healthcare. In today's training session, we'll be working on deceleration. Whether you're walking downstairs, hiking downhill, or playing sports, this is essential for not only performance but injury prevention. All you'll need for today's training session is a solid elevated surface like a box or a bench, and a couple of bands that you can anchor securely somewhere. So let's get started.
All right, first things first, a warm-up. Starting with kneeling wheel to child's pose. From a kneeling position, alternate between hands supporting behind you and extend your hips, squeezing your glutes and stretching the quads and shoulders. Then reach your arms overhead in front of you, sit your hips back onto your heels, and let your forehead drop down to stretch out your lats and lower back. Hold each position for roughly 5 to 10 seconds and repeat 3 times through. We're focusing on warming up the quads, hips, and ankles primarily for this workout. Take your time, just easing into movement for the warm-up. Next on the warm-up menu is ankle cars. Make your way to a tall seated position. Drape one knee over your arm and hold your shin in place with your other hand. Here we are isolating the ankle and making circular motions, finding the edges of your range of motion. Be sure to move very slowly so we can own every part of the movement. Complete 4 in each direction. Let's go ahead and switch sides. This is a great exercise to teach your body to familiarize itself with ranges of motion outside our usual linear standing and walking patterns. It's also great if you're rehabilitating the ankles from a sprain or other injury. Moving to all fours for our last warm-up exercise, Quadruped Hip Cars. Again, CARS is an acronym for Controlled Articular Rotations. Stack your shoulders over wrists and hips over knees. Tuck your toes if you can. The goal here is to solely move your leg at the hip in a full range of motion without shifting or moving the rest of the table that is your body. So, we're gaining stability in keeping the rest of the body motionless and strength and mobility at the hip. Alternate directions for 4 or 5 on each side. Let's go ahead and switch sides. Similar to the ankle warm-up, we want to move extra slowly and find the limits of our range before we notice compensatory movements of the spine or pelvis. In hip extension, your knee is straight back in line with your hip. Feel your glute contract here. Then moving into hip abduction with the knee out to the side without tilting the body. This is harder than it looks. Great job. Right on, the joints are prepped, now grab your elevated surface. A box, chair, or bench work well here. Just make sure it can bear load and is unmoving. We will place one foot on the box, staying on the ball of your back foot and keeping the back leg straight. Shift your body forward slowly, bending the knee of the elevated leg. Move forward as far as you can without lifting the front heel off of the surface. Then press yourself back up with strength and power. As a bonus, you'll feel a nice big stretch through the front of the hip of the back leg. We'll be doing 8 on each leg. Okay, let's switch legs. This exercise is the triple threat. It improves mobility, strength, and stability all in one. It helps mobilize the ankle, knee, and hips. It strengthens leg muscles, particularly biasing the quads. And as you're likely able to feel, it improves stability since we're set up in a more unstable position. Nice work, you did it. Next, find a piece of wall and sit against it for tibialis anterior raises. Position your feet away from the wall in front of you. Lean your shoulders forward so you're able to look down at your feet. Make sure you have some cushioning under your heels. And lift your toes towards your shins as far as you can, engaging the muscles in the front of the shin. These are often neglected and important to strengthen because with every stride you take or every jump you make, you absorb and generate force through the lower leg. Okay, grab your bands and anchor them on something solid. I'm using 2 bands attached together here to give me some extra distance. We have installed an anchor on our wall, but a tree, a railing, or heavy piece of furniture could work too. We're walking backwards against the resistance and then forward, controlling ourselves back in. The important note here is to travel backwards, stepping with your knee over your toe so that you get the full range of your toe and ankle mobility, as well as maximizing the strength through your quads as you press back with each step. On the way back in, you just want to make sure you're doing so in a controlled way, not allowing the band to slingshot you back in. Sitting the hips back and staying in a low athletic position is helpful. If you don't have a place to anchor your band, you can always recruit a partner to hold it and walk with you, resisting as you go. And if you don't have bands, another way to get these same benefits and keep the knees healthy is to find a low-grade road or small hill and walk up it backwards. Nice work, y'all. Let's move on. Next, come into an angled plank on the wall. Find an angle that allows you to feel a calf stretch when your heels touch the ground. Support your body position by hugging your ribs down and tucking your pelvis. Raise up onto your toes, specifically focusing on coming up onto the big toe knuckle. It's easy to roll out onto the outside toes, so pay special attention. Lower back down slowly until your heels touch the floor. We want to work a large range of motion here and build strength in the calves and Achilles tendon. Next, we're going to practice a movement that mimics going downstairs or downhill. I'm alternating legs here, but you can also just do one leg at a time. The key points are to keep your torso vertical, bend the standing knee, and allow the knee to come over the toes only as far as you can keep the heel on the ground. Tap the hovering foot lightly in front of you and return to the start. We are once again strengthening the quads and also working on ankle range of motion. This will directly help any downward traveling you need to do. To progress this, stand on a small elevation and do the same thing. Nice! Let's grab our elevated surface one last time. Finally, we'll work on a more dynamic exercise called depth jumps. What we're doing here is practicing landing. I'm starting on a higher box, but if this is too high for you, start on the bottom stair of a staircase. You don't need to jump off of the surface, rather just stepping is plenty. But you can also progress to hopping off and landing. We want to absorb force efficiently through our body upon impact with the ground. We want to be quiet and soft in our joints like ninja cats. Next time, I'll try to remember to include a montage of our cats jumping out of trees from great heights. Try some landing on 2 legs, engaging your core but allowing your hips and knees to bend generously as you land. Arms in front will help with balance. Then try some on a single leg. Nice work, we've come to the end. Don't forget to reward your efforts with a dance move or 3.
Thanks for joining our deceleration workout. If you enjoyed it, we'd greatly appreciate if you gave this video a thumbs up and feel free to share with family or friends. Join the Virtue community by subscribing to our channel where we post weekly videos. And if you'd like to work with us in person, we have plenty of virtual training offerings you can read more about on our website, linked in the description below. See you soon!